The following podcast is a presentation of Project Entertainment Network.
Welcome to the Necrocasticon.
It's Shark Week at the Necrocasticon this week, guys. I know Shark Week isn't really going to be on the cable channels until like August, I think.
Shark Week. Necro Shark Week.
Yeah, Necro Shark Week this week. We're going to have Susan Snyder with us here in a few minutes.
Talk about sharks, man.
Yeah.
All kinds of sharks.
Yeah.
Baby sharks, mama sharks, daddy sharks.
Oh.
But there's one shark that I need to talk to her.
Yeah, we need to talk. She does. I don't think she's aware of the existence of this shark. We will talk to her about that later on. Welcome to the Necrocasticon, chapter 342, I think it is. Yeah, something like that. Maybe 343. Take a look at my list here.
Nice. It's an even number. We like that.
343. Yes.
343. No, fuck it. It's odd. We can't have that.
Yeah. Susan Snyder, the author of Encyclopedia Shark Platanica. Yes. Joins us this week. And we're going to share with her too our heavy metal shark exploitation list, because there is heavy metal shark PlayStation too, and I've got the top 4 of that listed.
I think that's all there are.
So we really need. There's a bunch of how can I put it? Obscure, deep cuts, but there's really 2 in a band.
Yeah,
we'll make it 3 because I'm going to include Mastodon.
Megalodon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, Megalodon. Later, we'll talk about that later. But thank you, Project Entertainment Anchor. Thank you, Godless. All the readers of Godless out there. Lucy Leitner's got a book out. She's just slaying people now, man. She's just slaying people. It's called Karen. That's all I'm gonna say.
Jesus.
Fucking say.
Is she gonna have a sequel called Chad?
I hope. I really hope. This is we can't advertise these on Facebook because the algorithm will ding us books over at Godless Horrors. All right, let's call in Susan, okay?
Call her.
All right, call her.
Susan Snyder, Ed. She looks so demure. She talks to me and she tells me during our little chat that she can't wait to come on so she can cuss. But she looks like a librarian in her picture here. So, Susan Snyder, welcome to the Necrocasticon.
Hi, kid. There's this whole diatribe of things that Skype is telling me to do in order to give you access to my lovely face.
Hold on, let me accept.
And it's like super hard. And
yeah.
Let me see you. Hang on. Security and privacy. Blah blah blah.
Oh, can Skype access your camera? Can Skype access your microphone?
Your microphone,
Can
yes.
Skype access your genealogy and DNA code?
The K in
David, your
Skype.
last period.
The K in Skype is actually an initial. You know what it stands for?
What?
Karen.
Well, I gotta say this: Encyclopedia Shark Platanica is coming out soon, and I can't wait for people to read this because your
fun.
humor is very. Reading this book is kind of hard to do because you're laughing so fucking hard when you're reading it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's straight up honest. I appreciated that so much. Checking it out. So yeah.
You know,
Definitely
I actually I reread it recently, obviously for editing purposes, and I actually made myself snort laugh a couple times. So I don't know. I mean, not often, but there's a couple snort laughs.
Well, okay, that brings up a question right off the bat. Actually, instead of for re-editing and so forth, do you actually read stuff you've written previously at any time?
Yeah,
Really?
I do. It's like a morbid fascination. I don't know. It's kind of, I just did. But with the sharksploitation reviews, I mean, I was really hard on Mark Polonia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Polonia Brothers, and they're pretty prolific in the sharksploitation genre. And some of the worst of the worst. And I get pretty hard on Mark Polonia, and I actually have read a lot of my reviews of his movies just to see if I'm being too much of a bitch. And the conclusion is yes, I have been. But I realized that I'm getting more and more enamored with the low budget shark movies, like the really, like you're filming it on your cell phone with a bunch of friends. Nobody has a script. Everyone's drunk and high, but you can tell they really, really like shark movies, and that's what I'm really quite enamored with that now. I apologize, Mr. Polonia, for everything I've ever said about you, because I think, especially the last year, I have needed this. I needed the guffaw, I needed the chortle.
Well, Susan, Scott's got something for you, yeah.
We won't bring it up just yet. We have a recommendation for you, but we don't need to bring it up just yet.
Because it's not in your book, so we're pretty sure it's not on your radar.
It doesn't mean that I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's not at that level. It's just slightly up above that level you're just talking about.
No, I think it's slightly below it, Scott.
It's not made on a camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that it's not made on a phone camera, I should say. Excuse me. It is made on a camera, an actual camera, but not a phone camera.
All right, let's circle back to that.
We'll circle back to circle sharks.
Where's your infatuation with sharks come from?
Well, this is so cliche, but it's from Jaws. I watched Jaws when I was like 5. And the fashion, I mean, I was like freaked out like any 5-year-old would be at the movie. But my father, after the movie was done, turned to me and said, "Do you know that monster is real?" And I was like, what? And like the fact that there was like a movie monster that was actually a real life animal was kind of novel to me. And I was just like, you're kidding. And I was obsessed with sharks. Decided to get my degree in marine biology, and of course you can't get a job doing that shit, so yeah, that became a hobby.
Yeah, you can. My buddy Jason runs the aquarium in Maryland.
There's only so many aquariums, dude.
So, yeah,
it's like being in radio.
No fucking jobs, unless you want to work at SeaWorld, which we all know is like
yeah, that's like the Disney World of freaking animals. No.
It became a hobby. I went diving with great whites in South Africa and Mexico, and white whale shark diving, and all kinds of stuff. And it's just been a hobby of mine. But I have this really, really deep-seated Al-Qaeda bitch fascination with sharks. So that's where it all came from, and then just like inevitably, of course, leads to. I'm a horror movie fanatic. I write horror, and I mean, horror is my life, and shark movies. I mean, so I started like raving like a lunatic about these like movies, this beautiful subgenre of sharksploitation, and I found that people kind of dug it. So, yeah, I stuck with it. So like my book has 85 shark movies and shark adjacent movies, but I've reviewed a lot more, but yeah, it's like I'm doing God's work, if God was like the devil, really. Okay.
Well, one movie that surprised me that you mentioned and brought up, well, actually the first chapter, the brother and sister movies to the sharksploitation films. with Orca and Grizzly, for example.
Grizzly,
I'm
yeah.
I'm going to be 54 this year, so I grew up in, and when I was a child, the Animals Attack movies, which were started by Jaws, that whole genre, that whole subgenre, were very prolific back then. And Orca, for example, I love that movie, and it's endeared to me for years because A, that poster is iconic, and
Oh, yeah.
and B, where do they advertise this fucking thing? On the back of issue 3 of the Star Wars comic that Marvel's putting out. So, of course, every young boy and girl at the time that's reading that comic book is seeing that poster ad.
Yeah, epic. Movie posters were epic back then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've included movie posters with every movie because, let's just be honest, fair use, probably okay.
Right
But
there at the beginning of the book, too.
oh, yeah, also amazing. Like, I love movie posters. Orca traumatized me as a child, re-traumatized me when I rewatched it.
Yeah.
And I still cried. I cried. I was all like, oh. I mean, when they haul the female orca up on the boat and then she gives birth to a stillborn calf and then you see the husband all in the water and he's catching the eye and he's taking that like photographic memory shot of Nolan, the captain, revenge, comeuppance. I mean, oh, it's powerful stuff.
Yeah, the whole movie you're watching, you're going, dude, get a new job, move inland, you'll be fine. But
Yeah,
no.
He is a dick, like plain and simple. Yeah.
Now, there's a movie that wasn't in your list of these co-movies that is near the pinnacle of my top horror movies of all time. And it's also the great example of what would have probably happened to Jaws if Bruce had worked. And I'm talking about Prophecy.
Oh, Prophecy. I have a shirt. I want to be it for Halloween. I love Prophecy so much. That's like, there was some sort of like undercurrent of environmentalism going back in the day, where they have, it's just Prophecy scared the shit out of me. Oh, yes.
This is the British copy. This is the British version.
Oh, my.
There you go.
I have all the covers now. This is from Robert Essick. Thank you, Bob. You the man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of Prophecy. And I actually was like semi-dating a guy like a few years ago. And the first date was I invited him over to watch Prophecy. And he didn't get it. He was a little bit confused as to why I would think that this is something that I would want to show him. But come on, the little deformed baby bears that are all like,
They're so cute.
That's so
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, I
Come
mean,
on,
stop
the two-headed fish.
That's so good.
Adorable. Adorable.
And Man Bear Pig. But what was great about that, again, the trailers for these movies were fantastic. The trailer for Prophecy got you because you got that horrifying moment of the kid getting slapped up against a tree in the sleeping bag and feathers in the trailer.
Yeah.
And
Underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now Scott's got a movie that's not in yours as well, and we don't know if you were familiar with a guy named Bill Zabub.
I have heard you mention Bill Zabub in former podcasts, but I don't.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he's not too far away from you right now.
Oh, shit.
Get a restraining order. Get a restraining order.
Yeah.
No restraining order. Yeah, exactly. So Bill is as DIY as you can get, as B movie grade as you can get, and longtime fan of his stuff, diehard metalhead and all that stuff. So he has a lot of respect here on this show. But about 5 years ago, he put forth what I call his magnum opus, and there's actually two names to the movie. One version is 2 hours long. One version is 3 hours and 20 minutes long. The 3 hour and 20-minute version is iconically named Dick Shark.
Oh, dear.
Now, the 2 hour version is called Frankenshark. because honestly, that's the influence to this movie. So it's kind of sharksploitation, it's kind of exploitation, but it's also got Bill Zabub's little twist on it, which basically means that the images you see in the movie do not necessarily forward the dialogue in the movie does not necessarily forward the plot. It's much like a Greek play, to where it's just there's fantastic dialogue going on between the characters, but it doesn't really do anything for the story. The images tell the story more than the dialogue does.
And here's the one image that you need from this movie: a giant dildo shark. Okay.
Yes,
there you
shark
go.
with a huge phallus. Yes. Huge phallic
Like
dick.
the running time had something to do with uncircumcised versus the the circumcised version. Like maybe that was the length.
This woman's a thinker.
I'm wrong. I cracked it.
I like it. Yes.
But
So,
yeah,
Cut shark versus uncut shark.
I have to tell you, like, I mean, maybe not so much like pornographic shark, but like anytime they have like a claymation or paper mache shark.
Oh, this is full on. This is not paper mache. It is full on. It's a huge shark. Yes.
Yeah.
They had the actual dick shark at Scares That Care a couple of years ago. Kayla brought it with her.
Yep.
And she was a display at Scares That Care.
Uh-huh. Yeah, somebody, Bill gave that to somebody, or they bought it or something like that. But yes, and there was all different kinds too. There was one that was about 10 inches long, one about 3 feet long, one giant 7-8 foot long one, and full size.
Yeah, the 3-footer was there.
Yeah, so the 3-footer was there. So yeah, the shark basically is formed and it gets severed from its host, and it goes down. It gets flushed down the toilet as you would any aquatic animal that you don't know what to do with. And it just kind of pops up out of nowhere. It attacks women, siphons their fluids, if you know what I'm saying, and that's what it feeds on, and that's how it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's a character named Richard, anyway, and he's the doctor trying to find it. So in doing so, he has to go through all different kinds of individuals, hitmen, family members, whoever to try to find.
This is taking an extreme homoerotic twist.
Dude, you're taking longer to describe the movie. Oh my God.
Because none of the people I just mentioned were men. They were all
I
women.
own this film, and I have not watched it. Okay.
I could probably quote it to you.
I'm writing this down right now. So
I have done a review for this movie. It's on my YouTube page.
Dick Shark.
Dick
There you go.
Yes,
Dick Shark.
It's on Amazon at Bills Above Productions.
Hey,
You
look,
can find it there.
I've watched a lot of sharksploitation movies, but I am always up for anything, any obscure thing you can find. I'm always up for it. So,
If you're up for discussions about science versus religion and all kinds of debunking the American language, English language, and various other metal talk as well. And of course, scantily clad women and topless women. That's beside the point. That's all included in Bills Above films. So yes, please enjoy yourself.
I will.
I'm going to tell Bill right now I just sold him a movie.
No, that thing sold out of Scares That Care in like 5 seconds. All the guys bought that movie, and then there was none left in the rest of the week, and people were wondering. Yep. There was little posters around everywhere for it. Everybody's like, "Where's this Dick Shark movie? Why can't we find it?"
Because people think it's a porn, and it's not.
I got a new one in the mail, hot off the presses, from SRS Cinema, and it's called Jaws of the Shark, and it's a shark. Well, a guy in a shark outfit with a chainsaw. I'm just looking at the cover right now. I wish I had the video for you guys.
Go on.
You have our attention.
It's going to be really low budget, but I fucking love that stuff. I'm in. So I'm so excited. I'm like, I won't review it this weekend because Sunday is the 46th anniversary of Jaws. So like, I feel like at gunpoint I'm supposed to do something about that. Yeah. But I don't want to review Jaws because that's been done like ad nauseum.
Black eyes.
What do I do to say about fucking Jaws? Maybe fuck it. I'll just review it this weekend. Fuck it.
What is it? Okay, Jaws the movie and Jaws the book are so different.
Yeah.
Yet, even though they remove the whole affair between
Ellen,
yeah, the movie's still about divorce, which is kind of weird. How many different interpretations have you ever heard of Jaws? The metaphors in it and the themes in it. Because I think that's what stands out about it. It makes it so great because so many different people can look at it and get a different interpretation of that film.
Yeah, I think it's like that's the beauty of Jaws and why it has lasted for so long. It's like somehow weirdly relatable, even though nobody had seen anything like that. It was the first summer blockbuster film. It scared the shit. Everybody was just terrified. I was scared of the toilet. I was scared of the pool. I was scared of anything, running water.
Ruined tourism everywhere.
Right. Yeah. It was, and it also decimated the shark population. There was this unintended effect. Peter Benchley was horrified to find that people were actually going out and slaughtering sharks because they thought they were all killing machines, you know. But yeah, people have these. I find a lot of people I talk to haven't read the book, and that's kind of scary. I guess that's a classic, but
well,
a lot of people
saw the film in the drive-in when I was a wee boy. I was probably 9 years old, and I couldn't wait to read the book. But when I read it, I read the Reader's Digest condensed version. Guess what that did? That took the affair out too.
Yeah, I did too. I read the Reader's Digest condensed version first. I totally did. They didn't have any of the sexy. I mean, that's kind of like some really raunchy shit. Like, people don't realize there's some raunchy sex stuff. Like, her vagina is all wet and glistening in the sunlight, and it was just like, what? I'm way too young to know about wet, glistening vaginas. Soon I would know all about it. But, yeah, I was just, yeah. But yeah, they did a lot of censoring in the Reader's Digest version, I remember. But yeah, people related to it in weird ways. And what I found the most relatable character to me was Quint. I absolutely fell in love with Quint, which is kind of counterintuitive, seeing as he's the one who likes to kill sharks. But, like, he had this reason behind it, right? And the Indianapolis monologue was not in the book. That was actually ad-libbed by Robert Shaw for the movie.
Yep.
He just kind of threw that in there, right? And so it was like almost like I kind of had this inkling Quint was like this deeper character, and then it comes to this monologue, and it's like he was on the Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. That shit's deep and tragic and horrible. But it does explain a lot about his behavior.
Yeah, and you know what, too? That led to, people like me and you, I'm assuming, going to see what happened on the Indianapolis and researching that further.
I was obsessed. Mm-hmm.
All because of an ad-lib.
All because of an ad-lib. Brilliant. Brilliant man.
Yeah.
So good.
So, I get messed up when I see him in Jaws, and then I see him in a James Bond movie with blonde hair. I'm like, this isn't the same fucking guy.
Yeah, that's the danger of having a really, really iconic role as an actor, right? Like, you're just, like, ruined for everything. Like, the guy who plays Joffrey in Game of Thrones is fucked. He's never going to ever do anything for the rest of his life because of his stupid face. We all fucking hate him. Like,
he'll be able to play that one guy that is like the poster child for date rape now. He'll be able to play him. That's about it.
Yeah, I know that guy. The guy that like raped the lady behind the dumpster or whatever, and he's probably named Kyle because they're all named Kyle. I apologize to Kyle, but
another shitty fucking name.
That and Chad.
Chad, Brent.
My daughter's ex-husband's name is
Jordan
Chad.
Finn. Lame. What happened to Tony and Eddie and Bobby and Joey?
Yeah.
Joey's cool.
This is the Backstreet Boys, okay?
Joey, Jackie, Johnny, and Phil, Bobby, Tommy, Danny, and Bill. What happened? Todd!
We are a heavy metal and horror show, and we put together a list of some heavy metal shark for you.
Oh.
Yes. And now, it's not it's not a deep list.
It's not a long list. It's not great to begin with, but it's not a long list.
But right at the top of it is the band Great White, of course.
Ah. Mm-hmm,
yeah, Great White, infamous for not sharks, but burning down a club.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually I grew up in New England, and my aunt lived right up the street from that club. the station, which is in Attleboro, which is right on the border of Rhode Island. She lived right on the border of Rhode Island. And so I grew up in that area. And that was pretty shocking. And just the shit that happened to those people was crazy. And the fact that hey, I'm gonna do a little PSA if you don't mind right now. Hey, if you own a fucking small club, don't have pyrotechnics in it. Just don't fucking do it, because the shit that happened to those people was insane. Yeah. However, I will say, for a brief time, when I was a teenager, I was the queen of hair metal. My hair was high to God and my skirt was short to sin. And I was a fan of Great White for like 5 minutes. So
as everybody else was.
I will admit myself too that I had a jean jacket with the Great White robot shark on the back of it, just because it looked fucking badass.
Oh, yeah. I have a Great White T-shirt that I wear to work sometimes. I work in a brewery, so I can wear whatever. But people, and it's actually the movie Great White, but everybody always thinks it's for Great White the band. And I'm like, ugh. But you know what? I'm going to embrace the fact that I did like them. Like, save all your love. Save your love for me. I mean, that shit was epic at the time, right?
Yeah, you know, you should be in the band.
Oh.
You could be.
That ship has sailed, pumpkin.
Yeah. All right. Next on the list, accept Fast as a Shark, of course, if you can get past Udo Dorkschneider's voice.
Oh, no, I can't.
Okay, so, yeah, nobody can usually.
Yeah. And even though they have a new singer, they sound the same.
Oh,
so
yeah, he sounds just like Udo.
Doesn't matter.
It's like firing Uwe Boll from your movie and hiring, I don't know, Brett Ratner. You know, don't get it. All right, number 3.
He hasn't got no Uwe Boll reference in a while. That was nice.
Yeah.
That slipped that right in there.
Yeah. Number 3, Shooting Shark from Blue Oyster Cult, which has absolutely nothing to do with sharks in the song. It's just good poetic metaphor from Patti Smith. And honorary mention to Mastodon's Megalodon.
Okay, yes. All right, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
I'm a Mastodon fan.
So am I.
Good. I will, my witty retort for that is, you know, I knew y'all were a podcast doing with heavy metal, and I was thinking hard. I mean, you guys thought a little harder, but I was thinking, like, how the hell sharksploitation and metal, like, come together in a juicy, you know, interaction.
Chum.
There's not a lot. I would
Chummy.
say, like, in Sharktopus, which is a Roger Corman produced travesty, which is a shark octopus hybrid.
Yes.
If you guess by the title.
That was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And there's a disappointing boob and ass montage that is set to a band called Cheetah Whores, and the song is called Hot Rod Hell Kitten. Like, not really, like, it's not really good. But I will mention that's one of the few metal sharksploitation, you know, interactions that I could cross pollinations, if you will.
Well, you know, Sharknado.
Well, I mean, are you talking about the theme song for Sharknado?
Well, the whole Sharknado thing is kind of metal if you think about it.
I mean,
Well, Jericho was in one of the movies.
Chris
These are
Jericho, yeah.
kind of metal.
like the metal feeling. I mean, that's in a lot of them. But yeah, I will definitely say. And then there's Shark Night 3D. I don't know if you guys saw Shark Night 3D. It's one of my favorites, and the reason it's one of my favorites is because it's got like different kinds of species of sharks. It's not just great whites. Because, like, come on, we're all sick of the great white. Like, the great white's epic. We love him.
Well,
Ripster.
like you said with Deep Blue Sea, you know, Deep Blue Sea had the Makos, and Makos notoriously have been the fast shark, you know, the accept shark.
And it, like it has hammerheads, bulls, great whites, and cookie cutter sharks, which is kind of like, that really tweaks my nipples because nobody ever uses a cookie cutter shark. And that death scene is epic.
What's that shark that looks like a little miniature great white?
Oh, salmon sharks?
Yes.
Yeah. Salmon sharks look exactly like little. Yeah, that's exactly right. So Donald Logue, who's like, oh God, he's in everything.
Mhm.
But all I can think of right now, under pressure of my own doing, is Blade. You know, he's the guy who
Yes.
gets like arm chopped off and shit. I love that guy.
Did you see the new Mortal Kombat movie with the guy that
I
plays Kano in there? Just played Donald Logue in every movie he was in, and he acted like Donald Logue in every movie that he was in. The guy had a brilliant fucking plan. He goes, "I'm just gonna be Donald Logue." He wasn't Donald Logue, but he acted like him.
I love him. It's a good plan. And like so at the end of Shark Night, he's like a hair metal fan. So he's just like cranking hair metal and like dangling a guy in a chair over a bunch of sharks. Like I think it's a tiger shark or something. It's like, that's it. That's all I got for like metal shark exploitation. I think you guys did like a much better job than I did.
Well, there's a bunch of other bands and stuff like too, but they're kind of obscure, more underground. Halloween did do a cover of Fast as a Shark, so that one might be a little more palatable than Accept's version.
Yeah. Anything Halloween does is more palatable than Accept. Across the board.
Barely. I remember seeing Halloween on the Headbangers Ball tour in like, I don't even know, at 1988 or something like that. It was horrific.
Man, what, you were like 2 years old then?
Yeah.
No. Oh, no, honey. No. I'm older than that. But yeah. But in my book, I do interview Steve Diaspora, who's an actor in a lot of Mark Polonia's movies. And he is actually currently a metal drummer. He's been a metal drummer since the 1980s and an actor in shitty sharksploitation movies. So now you know why I went after him for an interview. I was like, son, get up in this shit.
What bands does he play with?
I'm not building.
Does he play with national bands?
I don't know. Like, I think he's just, I don't know if he's a session artist or something, but like he says he still plays. So we talk a little bit about the metal and horror connection in the interview that I have in the book. Encyclopedia Sharksploitanica dropping July 4th.
Yes.
July 4th.
Declare your independence.
That's going to be like, from when this is going to air, probably about the week before then.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Go find it, baby.
The summer read. Shark books are good summer reads. They really are. Mm-hmm. And then you get read a summer read. It gives you ideas to watch something on your streaming service at home, or wherever you get your movies, as the case can be. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. So what do you got planned next? What are you writing next that's going to be horror?
Well, I am going to work on a project for next year that's going to involve sharks and football.
Sharks and football?
Yeah. It's going to be a bizarro project.
Oh, yes.
Is this all you can tell us right now? Because I already have ideas.
Yeah, I really know. You probably have the same ideas that I do, babe. We should get together, But yeah, so this was kind of thrust upon me as almost a challenge. And I've actually never written a shark story. I feel like that's like...
What?
I know, right? Like, it's like almost like, what can I possibly do with sharks that hasn't already been done? Like I've seen a lot of these fucking movies and they come up with everything. We're up to 7-headed shark. I think that's coming up. So I can't do anything with multiple heads anymore. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean,
King Shark's going to be in Suicide Squad.
Yep.
That is nice.
And he's already been on Flash.
Yeah.
I really think they should. So I'm a big fan of Street Sharks. I don't know if you guys watched Street Sharks when you were youngins.
I'm familiar with it.
Big fan. So I'm trying to do a little bit kind of Street Shark vibe with this one, So we'll see how that goes. And I've got a couple other little projects going on.
So anthropomorphic sharks.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I think I want to try to do something a little different with that. But we'll see
Okay.
how it goes. Maybe like, football is like a shark baby head, or like maybe, I don't know, something gross. I just want to get gross with it.
Oh, yeah. Gross is good. Gross is fun.
Gross sells. Gross sells a lot.
So
Yeah.
you work at a brewery.
Yeah.
So do the alcoholic fumes there help you with your imagination?
Is that yeast
do
getting
they
in your
feed
lungs
your
there and start
muse?
permeating ideas in your mind?
Do they ferment?
They
Ideas
ferment.
for you?
Ferment, yes.
Nicely done, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. No,
Fermentally challenged.
yeah, it's a nuts place to work, and like I really like it because I kind of came from the corporate world, and I'm currently an accountant. No, so yeah, so the pandemic, I lost my dream job, blah blah blah. I end up at this brewery, Live Oak Brewery, Austin, Texas. Woo! But these people, like, even in the interview, it's like tattoos. They crank death metal all day, and I can't think of a more comfortable environment for me. So maybe not so much as the beer fumes, as it's just I'm allowed to be myself. I've got tattoos. I'm a Satanist. I'm a feminist. I write horror. I'm a little bit of a weird chick.
Don't sound weird to us. Sounds completely
Well-
normal.
You're normal.
So I'm accepted there for who I am. So that's nice. And then you also got like, free flowing beer on tap, like suckling from the mother's teat. It's amazing.
That is great.
What form of Satanism do you follow?
I am a member of the Satanic Temple, so I am kind of a non-theological Satanist. I actually don't even, I hesitate to say I'm a member of anything. I don't believe in organized anything. So I would say I'm kind of a mixture of modern day Satanism and chaos magic, maybe. So,
A bunch of cats that
Satanism,
agree on something.
Yeah.
That's what it comes
So,
down to.
yeah.
We're not together.
right.
We just
right.
agree.
So I'm just like, yeah, I'm the equivalent of the satanic I'm with stupid t-shirt, I'm just kind
I'm
of
with
like,
Baphomet.
I'm with Baphomet.
And you,
But,
don't, you don't even you won't even say the devil made me do it because you don't believe in the devil. So
No, I don't. But I love the devil. I love the idea of the devil. I love the iconography of the devil.
Give us a
And
concept.
yeah, so my poetry collection last year, Broken Nails is a lot of satanic imagery. Like, I really focused on a lot. It's a lot of like really raw stuff that happened to me as a woman when I was a kid, but it's also a lot of Satan. I love it. I love, everything about that imagery. Fucking Satan, conjuring Satan, whatever. Satan. Fucking Satan.
do you walk
All about Satan.
downtown with a big boombox playing Ghost, so that the people can understand it at least? I say
actually-
Ghost because you can, people that are walking down the street can at least understand what Toby's saying.
That's a good point. It's more
Maybe,
mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
And it
opposed
just
to
kind of sounds like mass.
You should not be blasting Merciful Fate down the road or Venom or something like that.
yeah, right. Which is I prefer to do actually, but
Who
yeah.
What do you listen
So,
to nowadays? What do you listen to nowadays mostly?
I don't listen to any new music. Like, I'm old and I don't really keep up with the youngins, so I am like always re-listening to my old school stuff. So I think like the newest thing I actually got into is maybe like Lamb of God or something, like, I don't know. I don't even know. So like I re-listen to a lot of metal.
Might I suggest Lucifer? You might like them.
Yep, Lucifer. I listen to a lot of like King Diamond and Merciful Fate.
I
And,
love you.
yeah, but I also like Megadeth, and So Far So Good So What has a big. That album has a big influence on my childhood, and like Slayer, and I don't know, Cannibal Corpse and Rigor Mortis. Rigor Mortis was a big one for me.
Sweetness, I'm already going to be asking you to be my wife here again. My wife number 2.
No, let's go after and make out. Totally.
Yes, absolutely.
Do that.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm usually worried about Skip hitting on the guests.
I haven't had to.
This one. Claimed.
I think that's only because you can't see my video. So,
It's not about the looks. It's about the intelligence.
About this and this and this.
I know. I wish you could see too, because I've got my Sharks of the Corn T-shirt on, which is another.
I saw that in the book too. I was like, wait, what? This is a thing?
It's a thing.
It's a big thing, apparently.
My favorite monster in D&D used to be the land shark. Because you never know where those fuckers were coming from.
I was gonna ask her, is there anything about shark porn that you've reviewed and enjoyed?
Jesus, no. What the fuck is wrong?
What is wrong with you, Skip?
Yeah, Skip. What up, man?
I don't even know what it
We're having a good conversation here. You just
Hey, somebody opened the door and knocked on me. All right,
through it.
there you go.
Wide open, legs spread wide open for that one. But no,
I love it.
I have not watched any shark porn. I don't
even know. I don't even think there is a
trying to
tag
think of
for
the
that on Pornhub. All right.
You never
Well,
know.
I mean, there is that Led Zeppelin story, right? You all know
Yeah,
that.
but that wasn't a shark.
A shark. So I guess that's shark porn, right?
What was the Led Zeppelin story?
It wasn't a shark. What was it though? It was like
It was called a mud shark, but I think it was like a freshwater
It's
shark.
almost like a catfish thing. I know the story too, but it's
They
like I
didn't
can't
have
remember.
sex with it, did they?
Well, supposedly a roadie did, or a groupie did,
They
at the
put
behest of the band.
shark inside of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
According to legend. I know.
According to legend.
God.
No.
But I-
Supposedly, allegedly, possibly.
Talking about shark porn, I go ew, and that's why, Tommy, I go ew.
Yeah.
So now you know what to put in your book.
Should have just left me out of this.
I will say there is a movie called Hammerhead starring Jeffrey Combs, we all know from Reanimator,
Right.
yeah. And William Forsythe, who starred in The Devil's Rejects. He was also in Halloween. I think there were
Everything.
of Halloween.
Ice from Stone Cold. Don't forget that.
Oh, right.
I used to think that he was the bad guy in Commando.
There's actually some implied. I mean, he's like a shark man, but he's like gonna rape a woman. So, I mean, I guess that gets a little bit into that genre.
I guess masturbating with a shark wouldn't be comfortable either, aside from the teeth. But the scales, they go one
Right,
way,
you
but
gotta
the other
go-
way, no.
You can't do it. You cannot do it.
No.
You can only go one way. How would you get it out? It was like,
Right.
That's what the fin is for.
question.
Female sharks have,
Yeah.
female sharks have a
I'll see you.
cloacula.
Cloaca, yes.
Oh, well, we've degraded on this conversation. Holy shit.
This is where it's getting good.
You're welcome.
Let's keep going here.
The viewership goes skyrocketing up.
Brad Tierney's going, yes, more!
More friends. This is for Brad now.
How do you jerk off a shark again?
Very carefully.
No, I mean, you can, because like male sharks have genital claspers, which are external genitalia. They actually have 2 of them. So you can, both hands. And, that it's not out of the realm of possibility. But
Unless he's into feet.
I just wonder about the whole head teeth area. Could be a problem.
Ooh, check out those
there's going to be a
insides.
dozen extreme horror authors that listen to this podcast, and there's going to be a whole bunch of next deep sea.
Start writing shit. Next year, be a bunch of these stories.
Masturbating with shark stories.
Oh, yeah,
A
yeah.
female were shark goes down on a man at a full moon.
Poor John Baltusberger is going to
Were
be seeing a whole
sharks.
bunch of shark masturbation stories go across his desk now.
Oh yeah, John.
Hashtag
I
wear
mean,
shark.
John's my
Let that
publisher. He's already had that. I mean, it's like I somehow slipped this like encyclopedia through, I don't know. I greased it up and slipped it through. I don't know how I did it, but God bless John Baltisberger. But yeah, I'm sure that I think extreme horror is prime for some shark porn, bizarro exploitation. I mean, why not?
How far do
I agree.
How far do you think you're going to go in your book?
With the shark, the new one, the shark foot
the shark one that you're writing. Yeah. How far? How extreme do you think you want to go?
Oh, now I'm thinking I should go all the way, baby.
That's why you come on.
All the way. That's
all
it.
the way. I mean, you guys inspired me and shit. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's why we're
but yeah, like, I think there's going to be some shark fucking. Oh, so do you guys, speaking of shark fucking, well, wait a minute. Let me circle back around. Okay, so wait a minute. Coming back to shark porn, because clearly everyone wants to be black poetic.
Stick on this subject now. Yes, we are.
There's a show on Hulu called Shark Lords. Have you guys heard of such a thing?
Oh.
And the whole premise of the show is two guys that want to go out and fuck sharks to show their dominance over the ocean. Like, man is the ultimate.
Who's on tour?
How did I know? So you're thinking to yourself, are they actually going to fuck sharks in the show? And the answer is unequivocally yes.
Easy for you to say.
Unequivocally.
There's some things are never going to happen, like Oak Island. They ain't going to find shit. Okay?
Well, they do.
Bigfoot, every Bigfoot show, they ain't going to find one.
No,
These guys are going to fuck a shark.
They fuck sharks. Different species of sharks working their way up to.
Is there a sheep shark?
No. But they show it, like, they don't show like the peni and stuff, but they show it. Like, it's quite shocking. You'll clutch your pearls a little bit. But yeah, the whole show it's a comedy show about guys wanting to fuck sharks and the hilarity that ensues.
It brings all new meaning to Hammerhead.
Oh,
All new meaning.
I'm crying like somebody in my family died.
Well, Scott, what about the saw shark?
Saw Shark?
Yeah, saw shark.
Saw Shark.
Does it want to play a game?
Saw Shark Redemption?
It's ribbed for her pleasure.
Oh, that's right.
I would love to see a saw shark in anything, any movie. But,
Jigsaw Shark. I want to see that. I want to see that.
Jigsaw shark.
They'll ask if you want to play a game. Yep.
Oh, I want to play a game.
I want to cut you in half. Get in this box.
One thing I noticed. Let's talk about your skills as a biologist here. Especially a marine biologist. One of the things you mentioned in the beginning of the book is, you talk about Quint's quote from Jaws about them having black doll's eyes, and you say no, they're actually blue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I bought that shit, man. Like, I thought, like, black eyes, lifeless eyes, like a doll's eyes. And then I went diving with great whites in Guadalupe Island, which is off of Mexico. It takes about 24 hours by boat to get out there. It's just like weird volcanic island. For some reason, it's this hot spot for great whites. And most of the footage you see in Shark Week and stuff is filmed at Guadalupe because the visibility is so nice. It's like a swimming pool, whereas like the Indian Ocean, other places, the visibility sucks. And so finally got out there, went to do that and got in the cage. And of course this is going to be my first time. I went to South Africa, wasn't able to get in the cage because of the current was too strong. So I just had to watch them from the surface. And then when I went to Guadalupe, I was actually finally able to get in the cage. And they say they can tell when a shark's approaching because the bubbles, they can see the diver's bubbles speed up. They start bubbling up to the surface. And so I'm looking, and finally I see the shape of the first white shark coming out of the gloom. And I was just so happy. I can't explain how happy I was. That was probably the happiest moment of my entire life, was seeing a great white shark coming at me. and it turned very gracefully in front of the cage, probably about 6 inches away from my face, and looked right at me. And I was shocked to see that great white sharks have blue eyes. They're blue. They're beautifully blue. And I wasn't expecting that. It was quite a jaw-dropping moment for me, or jaws-dropping.
Jaws-dropping moment, yes.
And an olfactory system that could smell your hormones.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
everything about you. That creature looked by you and said, that's not worth it. I'll go on.
Yeah.
That's a chicken nugget. I'm looking for a prime rib.
Yep.
That's right.
Little pink thing.
Well, you described me right there, brother. I'm definitely a chicken nugget in a world of prime rib. But it was really cool to have that like eye-to-eye connection with an animal like that. Like just be like, whoa, it sees me and I see it, and we're having a moment, and like, holy shit.
I think you're blessed that you had that experience, because it allows you to look at the world in a different aspect, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And just by having a background in biology and stuff too, I've been blessed to do some really cool things. Like my senior thesis in college was on stellar sea lions. So I spent 6 weeks on a little rock off the coast of Santa Cruz, California, doing nothing but observational research on sea lions. And this rock was like, we're talking a rock. I lived on a rock. It was like a half-mile radius, and it was covered with biomass, like everything from rhinoceros auklets, which are these really cute little birds, to elephant seals, to Brandt's cormorants and pelicans. It was insane. We had like sea otters in the water. There were white sharks all around there as well. It was just like I was just living and surrounded by wildlife, and it gives you a perspective that I don't think you can get if you haven't immersed yourself in nature. And, it's just, I was going out and peeing in the open and, just surrounded by elephant seals going, noises, and you're just like, it's in the middle of the night and I'm going out to pee and I'm like, am I getting bitten in the ass by one of these things? And I almost did, actually. But just biology, man. Biology.
Science.
Hell of a dress.
Give us an example of something that you experienced while you were there that helped mold you as a creative.
Okay. Well, when I was on the island, western seagulls were breeding, and so their chicks were hatching. And by the way, I hate seagulls for reasons you'll soon understand, but their babies are so cute. They're like polka-dotted. But I was like, so I had to duck walk across the island to the blind where I would do my research, so I could like hide so they wouldn't know that I was actually looking at them and taking notes. So I would like duck walk across the island, and I had to wear a raincoat for the poop, the bird poop that would inevitably come, a hard hat, I'll explain in a minute why, and then hold a broomstick above my head. And I would duck walk across the island to the blind where I would do my research on the sea lions. And the reason I had the broomstick was because seagulls will hit the highest point. So they would hit the top of the broomstick instead of my head. But the reason we had the hard hat was for just such an occasion as this. So I'm boop, boop, doop. I'm duck walking across to my blind in the morning. And this seagull was defending its nest. I got too close to one of its chicks. And it hit me so hard in the head that its toes fused onto the hard hat, and it ripped its own toes off. And they were,
oh, wow.
When I got to the blind, I took the hard hat off, and 3 little bird toes had fused themselves onto the edge of the hard hat. That's how hard it hit me. And I almost had a concussion. Like I was like, like little birds were tweeting around my head.
Little seagulls?
Like, oh.
Figuratively and literally.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's when some sense got knocked into me. And I realized I wanted to write horror.
And now you're here.
And kill all the seagulls in the world.
That must have been a frightening experience.
So I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's pretty grotesque. And then later on, so I was there for like 6 weeks and I'm in this blind and I'm rocking. So there's no exercise. It's a half a freaking mile radius rock. Where are you going to exercise, right? So I'm rocking myself back and forth with my legs in the blind and then dropped my pencil, looked down underneath the little shelf that I used to write on. And there was this huge nest of black widow spiders that had been there the whole time. That I was putting my little bare toes under and rocking back and forth, and I was like, "Oh dear God, oh dear God." I'm not a spider fan. So that was another little indication that maybe I should write horror.
Who are some of your horror influences?
Mm-hmm.
My influences?
Yep.
I really like Clive Barker. Big fan of Clive Barker. I like I like a lot his eroticism combined with pretty intense and lofty ideas about horror. In my horror, I always like to kind of have a feminist perspective. I like to have female antagonists. I like to deal with, sexual elements in a way, whether it be like coming from my experience as being, a sexual assault victim when I was young, like all of that stuff. But something about like Clive Barker and the way he like interweaves eroticism, even homoeroticism, into his fiction without it being really in your face. Like I really love that. He had such a grotesque way of telling a story. Right now, I really like Christopher Triana, and I know you guys had him on your podcast recently.
Yeah, Chris is a brilliant.
Yeah, the Christopher Triana Awards. I'm a nominee this year for the Christopher Triana Award.
Nice.
Two-time nominee, and no way in hell will I win. But
I know. Being nominated, is just a wonderful thing in of itself. When I was told that I was nominated, I shit a brick. I was like, really? No fucking way.
It's so cool.
It's like when we had Christine Morgan on last week, we were talking to her about being part of that too. It's not about winning. It's the fact you're nominated. More people know who you are now.
That is
more people
true.
are going to be
That's
checking
a
you
big
out.
deal. It's a big deal, especially in the splatterpunk community, which is like, that's the community that my heart. Yeah, it's my family. It's nothing but, respect for each other and like absolute bringing each other up. There's no like competitiveness, it's just really refreshing. And I went to KillerCon the first time, oh God, I guess it was maybe 4 years ago. And I went by myself. I had just started off in the horror world. I had just gotten published. Like, I'm green as hell. I'm still green as hell, honestly.
Yep, me too.
But I went there by myself and I sat there like, oh my God. And I listened to Ryan Harding read and Joe Lansdale read and Wrath James White and all of these people. And I'm just sitting there going like, oh my God, fangirling out.
Yeah.
I would love to be one of them someday. I would love to be nominated for a Splatterpunk Award. Gosh, I would love to be able to do something like this. And my God, to be like 2 years in a row nominated for a Splatterpunk Award, like it blows my fucking mind. Like I don't think I'm worthy. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I will tell you, I am chuffed as punch to be included in the names like you guys. Like it's so amazing. I just found out I was nominated for an Elgin Award, which is a science fiction poetry award. Just found that out the other day.
Ah, congratulations.
For my poetry collection, Broken Nails. And it's just like, it boggles my mind. And then I take a steep left turn into Sharksploitation book. Yeah.
There you go.
Got to satisfy that inner need to get that out of you.
That's my soul.
Yes.
That's my essence, Like, I'm just so glad John Baltusberger let me fucking publish that. Like, he decided to publish that a long time ago. He actually let me do this. And I can't believe that someone actually is going to let me rave like a mad woman over.
It's a fantastic book. It's funny as hell.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I crack myself up, but like I don't know if I ever crack anyone else up. Like I just, who knows? Who knows if jokes land? You know what I mean? Like you don't know.
Well, Susan Snyder, thank you very much for joining us on the Necrocasticon.
It's
such
been
a
a pleasure.
fun time. You guys
Yeah,
are the
great
best.
time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being. Where can people find your stuff now? Where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
Well, I have a website, sharksploitationsunday.com. I do a shark review blog almost every Sunday. So it'll be there. You can find it on Madness Heart Press as well. And yeah, I've got stuff. It's on Amazon. It's on Godless. Shout out to Godless. Woo!
Godless.
Yes.
Feelings in me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So go to Godless, not the Zon. Just saying. But yeah. So I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. I'm really glad that you guys dug my little wacky love letter to shark movies.
That was great.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I can't wait to read you a piece of fiction too. Next piece of fiction.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Keep them
Excellent.
coming. Oh yeah.
Wear sharks.
All right.
We're
Fine.
sharks.
Female wear sharks.
Have a good one, Susan.
Thank you, babe.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Take care.
Susan Snyder joining us there on the Necrocasticon.
Fantastic.
She's pleasant.
Fantastic.
Did not expect the porn turn on that conversation, but
Nope.
sometimes it happens.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all comes from a happy place.
Yes, it does.
Poke Uncle Skip with a
crush.
stick. You deserve what you get.
That's right. Land shark. Land shark.
Coming soon from me, The God Provides, my new book. It basically turns Irish mythology on its head, as well as werewolf horror.
I just read the third part of that. That's my favorite so far.
The Gob in the Well.
The Beltane.
Beltane, Gob in the Well.
Yes, it's my favorite one so far. And I already love the first two, so that tells you how much I
that
like
story. I wanted to do a Midsummer, but I wanted to take that trope and change it, because it always seems to be, the outsider ends up getting something happens to them.
Yeah.
But I wanted something different to happen to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
really
The
like
opening of that is me bleeding on my sleeve. I experienced that.
Ah, okay.
But I was not chased.
I understand.
Yeah.
Understand. Okay.
And a portion of that too was also an experience I had with an older teenager once. So there's a lot of bleeding on my sleeve in this book. A lot of it.
Mhm. You can now you mention that, you can feel that.
Yeah.
You can feel that.
Yeah,
So
because I really experienced that shit. So you want to know what we're talking about? Well, buy the book when it comes out, kids.
buy the book.
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. Mr. Scott Reacts over on YouTube.
Yes, sir. I'm on YouTube under it's Mr. Scott Reacts. All kinds of great reaction videos, reviews coming out, other stuff on that channel too. You find me on Twitch, where I jam out on bass sometimes and chat with folks. I am also on Twitter. I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I hardly ever use it. And you also find me and Walter, occasionally Walter, on as part of the Shadow Cult YouTube channel, where we do a wrestling podcast every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So please come on by, say hi, join us.
Skip, when you're not shining the lighthouse lights, what are you doing?
I am playing with trains. And lots of trains.
Diablo
That's
3.
Yeah, Diablo 3.
We should start
Diablo
playing
3,
together.
yep.
You know what? I think I'm going to start. We'll start playing together, and I'll broadcast it on Twitch.
Okay.
You should do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm Paragon 610 now.
Really? I just hit 600.
Oh wow.
I haven't been playing that much because I've been getting
Yeah. Well, all I've done is greater rift runs. Just
well, that's what you gotta do at this point. Unless you're trying to get other. I gotta try and. Oh gosh. Yeah. I'll find out. September 23rd, I believe it is. That is the release date for Diablo 2 Remastered on consoles.
Yep.
And that is also the date of the Sword and Wizard Rifle show in Buffalo, New York. That I'm going to.
Very
Oh,
cool.
it's a heavy day for you.
Oh yeah.
Big day. Big
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Big
Oh, yeah.
day.
All right. Walt's over on the Shadow Cult with Scott. He's also smoking meat when he's not burning it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude. So
On his
sorry.
anniversary, he burns the fucking
That's
brisket.
That's
Oh.
a burn.
That was a burn and a half.
Yeah. It's what it is. Shit happens.
You know what? He's allowed. It doesn't.
Yeah,
It's.
the owl
it
can't be
doesn't
fucking
change
hits.
the-
You know?
Yeah, doesn't change anything. The love is still there. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my
we
love
the
is so great, I burned it.
I burned it. Takes the burn on my tongue.
And of course, Sergeant Fury, goddamn, he just ran another race.
I know.
Jesus.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, give it up to him.
Sergeant Fury on Twitter and Instagram. He hasn't been doing much podcasting because he's doing so much running and dominating in that world. So
Films
so
of
damn
Fury,
proud of him. Oh yeah,
Buffalo Talk Radio and Mental Health.
Mental Health and Films of Fury and all that stuff. Yeah. So damn proud of our boy.
All right. Next week we're talking to Jared Barbie
Okay.
and Jeremy from Stygian Press.
All right.
So come by, check that out. And I think we're going to be having Lucas Milliron on the show again soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gotta
It's
have
always
Lucas
fun.
on for
Yep. And
his
of course,
quarterly
Scares That Care
appearance.
coming up. And we'll be, giving you guys, a good month of coverage of Scares That Care after the event. Because you do want to go to Scares That Care and the charity to experience these. But if you cannot, we'd at least provide you a little bit of the audio from it afterwards.
Just a taste.
Just a taste. Just
A little bit.
taste
A
of
little
what
bit.
you can
Just the tip.
experience
Just the tip of the shark going in there.
the tip of the dick shark.
Tip of the dick
Oh,
shark.
God. All right. So I will be seeing everybody there at Scares That Care. I'll be there. My summer tour starts up the week before that at the Corvette show in Silver Beach, New York. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
What a way to.
But the reason I'm doing that is because I'm from that area. So it's kind of like me doing something else.
Local talent.
Yeah, local talent. Conklin Con 2 coming up in August. And I'm going to be doing PowerCon, the Syracuse Punk Rock Garage Sale in September. So be filling in other dates as well. So come out and see me. The God Provides out by then. And also this fall coming from me, Immoral Dilemmas, a short story collection with the foreword by Lisa Vasquez.
Cool beans.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so until then, kids. And also check out the new issue of Stranger with Friction, because that's got my short story Giants in it, which is a prequel to The God Provides. So there you go.
There you go.
Right and fool. All right. Until next week, this chapter of Necrocasticon is
Closed.
The Necrocasticon is written and produced by Thomas R. Clarke, Scott Groverston, Walter Ball, Daniel Roberts, and Skip Novak. All content copyright 2021. Music by Daniel Edenfield, used with permission.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
When Mars shines in twilight skies, and the hills howl at her might, will-o'-wisps chase fireflies, while spirits fill the night. When shooting stars bake apple pies, and all that sown is reaped, don't forget to close your eyes, and pray your soul to keep. St. Rooster Books presents the new book from the Splatterpunk Awards nominated author of Bella's Boys, Thomas R. Clarke. The God Provides. There's a Curse in the Foothills, with interior illustrations by Stephanie Murr and the poetry of James Matthew Bias. The God Provides by Thomas R. Clarke. Available now wherever fine books are sold.
This has been a presentation of the Project Entertainment Network.